Okay, y'all, I'm back. Welcome to Saturday Shays Storytelling. I'm getting nervous. My list is getting lower and lower. It's shrinking. It's getting smaller and smaller. There's something on my screen. I thought I had 5 on the list. As I got to looking for it, I forgot to mark the last one off. I did. So then I just really had 4 on it. So now I've picked one and it picked number 3. So now I only have 3 left on my list. I have not thought of any more stories from my past to put down on my list yet. Yikes. What if I can't think of any more? And I run out. And then I have no more stories to tell on Saturday Shays Storytelling. No! Lord, please help me to think of some more, please. Okay. This one should have been told long ago, because now I barely remember how it went. It's going to be kind of kooky, odd, weird, probably not even right. You know how kids, I am finding lately, things that I remember that I thought happened when I was a kid, it really didn't happen that way. So says other people in my life that thinks they know better than me. So, I don't know if what I'm thinking and remembering is really real or what, you know? Do y'all do that? So anyway, okay, this story, I was like, I don't even know how old I was. I know that we lived on the coast. It was when we moved from Seminary, Mississippi, which was really Collins because we was out on Bowie Swamp, to Escatawba. Was it Escatawba, Mississippi, or Moss Point? Which one did we really live in? I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was Escatawba. When we first moved there, we moved our trailer there and lived in a trailer park. We was living in the trailer park when this started. Okay, I was little for my age, so I looked younger than what I was. Now, before we moved there, I started school, but I was 5 years old when I started school. Back then, kindergarten was not mandatory, so I didn't go to kindergarten. I started first grade at 5 years old, and because I started school, after I started school, I had my birthday. So when did I start school? It ain't like nowadays, is it? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Probably the beginning of September I started school, because my birthday's September the 21st. So I started school 5 years old, then September the 21st, I had my birthday and turned 6 years old. And I was in first grade. That's when I first started school. Okay. I went to first grade. I'm not going to go into all that. It's too hard and complicated, and I don't need to know all that. That'd be another story. I don't know if I need to. Yeah, because my list is shrinking. I might need to add it to my list. Okay. But anyway, needless to say, I was 5 when I started school, but then turned 6, and that was first grade because I didn't have to go to kindergarten, and I looked younger than my age because I was really, really small, my body and my form. It ain't now, not my form. I may be short, but I ain't. You know, I'm this way. Anyway, stop getting sidetracked. We moved. I think I was 7 years old, actually. Boy, that sounds horrible when you say that. Well, I've always been slow and behind in everything, ain't it? Oh well, that was just me. It's how the Lord made me, so. Okay. I was 7 years old when we moved to Escatawba, Mississippi. Moved our trailer there, moved it into a trailer park that we lived in at first. So in this trailer park where we lived, I had one of the little bitty bicycles that had training wheels on it. at this age. Yes, 7 years old. I was small, remember. And I had not yet learned how to ride a bicycle. So, it had training wheels on it. So one day I was outside and I was riding my bicycle. And I got to noticing how the training wheels, they didn't both, there's something in my mouth or on my lip, up inside there. My tongue feels it when I rake across it. It feels like a hair or something. But I guess it ain't, because it ain't coming off. But it bugs me. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, the two training wheels, you know, on each side, was not both sitting on the ground at the same time. You know, it was always one was on the ground, the other one was up, and the other one wasn't. So, when I noticed that, I got to thinking, well, you know what? I probably really ain't basically using, and I was thinking this little kid myself. And that was amazing for me, because like I said, I've always been slow. I had to go to special education. Mama took me and a doctor evaluated me, and my brain was 2 years younger than what my body and self was, and all this kind of stuff. So I've always been slow and behind and naive and still am. So anyway, so anyway, I was thinking I probably ain't really using these training wheels. I could probably really and truly just, okay, I guess cars just going by, seeing the shadow on the wall. I could probably really and truly just ride this bike on its own without the training wheels. So, to start off with, I would ride my bicycle and I would try to make neither training wheel touch the ground, and just be using, you know, they were still on the bike. But I would ride and I would look and watch, and I tried my best to see if I could make it do where neither one of the training wheels was touching the ground. So I think I managed that. So then when I did, I, you know, ran to Daddy. Daddy, take my training wheels off. I don't need them on my bike anymore. I can ride it without them. So he took my training wheels off, and then I hopped on the bike and took off riding, and that was it. It was like I taught myself how to ride bikes without a training wheel. Now, that was the little bitty kid bike, you know, that had the training wheels on it. So I remember that part. Okay, after we moved out of the trailer into the house in that neighborhood, we swapped with my older sister Charlotte. They lived in a house, brick house. So we traded. They got our trailer and we got their house. Of course, they moved the trailer out of the trailer park, way out of town, in another town, by a house that they just bought, that they was fixing that house up, but they needed the trailer to live there beside the house to fix up their house. And so that's why we swapped and we got the house. And I had never lived in a brick home, and that was amazing to me. I loved that. Plus I had a big old fine playroom in that house, because Charlotte's husband closed in the garage, put carpet in there, cut a wall out to make it a door, and that was my playroom. Thank you, Charlotte and Mark. Sorry I'm telling y'all's life on my video. Part of it anyway. Way past. Over with. Okay. Alright. I don't even think she watches my videos anymore, so it don't matter. If you watch this, let me know, Charlotte Ann. Alright. I spit on my screen. Sorry, y'all, I'm spitting at you. Okay. So, when we moved into the house then, okay, so I'm trying to remember, but it seems like, okay, what it was, this is what I'm thinking it is now. This is probably how it was. So see, I taught myself to ride, or I say I did, you know, that little bitty bike without training wheels. So I rode it for a while. Okay, we moved into the house, And later my daddy and them got me it was a bigger kid's bike. It wasn't the little bitty bike that comes with training wheels. It's the bigger one that had what they call the banana seat. And it was red, and I loved that bike. And so then I just thought of another story, unless I've already told it in the past and can't remember. I'll have to check back and see. Anyway, I'll forget it by the time we get off here if I don't write it down now, but oh well, I'm just going to take that risk. Okay, so I was riding that bike, okay, but that was still the small bike, you know. And then they had the bigger bikes, you know. So my sister Becca had a big blue bike. Okay, now, she tells me, do I remember right, Becca, did you tell me you got married when I was 9 years old? So, I think that's what you said. I know I was 9 when Joe was born, Charlotte's oldest son. So, Becca, and then you said you got married when I was 9? Okay, so anyway, if you did, once she got married, she left that blue bike behind. So, it was just there at the house. And I had my small one and had been riding it. Okay, so it was there, and I thought, one day, I'm going to try to see if I can't ride this big bike. So I just politely hopped up on it. I don't know why I thought that because the little one I've been riding, the little one I might not be able to ride the big one. See, I told you I'm slow, behind, naive. So I thought I taught myself to ride the big bike too. Probably didn't. It was probably just all, you know, the same. So anyway, I get on her bike. Now our backyard, now this is how I remember it. We had a little front yard, but our backyard was long. It went way back in the back. And there was 2 trees back there. And Daddy had a big old workshop back there on one side. And you could, the 2 trees, it was like a path or a road. It wasn't really a road, but it was like a dirt path back there that went like round in a circle. And that was way in the back. So I hopped on right at the back door of our house. I hopped on that blue bike and I took off down the backyard, and then I got to that first tree, and so then I rode around the 2 trees, okay, a couple of laps, and then I rode back up to the house. And I was so tickled and proud of myself. I was riding a big bike, you know. So then I claimed the blue bike, Becca's bike. Becca's big blue bike became mine. I'm sure I rode the little red one again at times. I probably just took turns, you know. So, I've told the story. There's been plenty of bikes in my family. My daddy loved tinkering. He was a welder. He loved welding things. He took bikes apart and he glued different parts of different bikes together to make other bikes. He made 2-seaters this way, like a big tricycle with 2 seats. He made a big tricycle with 1 seat. He probably tried to make the 2-seater the long way, you know, I'm not sure. But he did all kind of stuff. So I've had many a bikes and rode many a bikes. So anyway, that is my story about how I taught myself how to ride a bike, and then the big bike, and was tickled to death about it. So, and it probably was no big deal, and I just thought it was, because I'm naive like that. Do not give me comments telling me not to call myself naive, okay? Alright. So, I guess that's all of my story. I hope y'all enjoy it. I'm out of here until next time. I'm done. I'm gone. Toodaloo.